Let's bring you one of our top stories today. The wet weather conditions could bring about further delays in restoring electricity in the Johannesburg city centre. Selby and surrounding areas in the CBD have been without electricity for over 5 days and counting. Now that follows, you'll remember, that underground fire that destroyed the main power lines. City Power has now begun with the repairs, with the laying of new cables, but it's unclear when power will be fully restored. eNCA's reporter Heidi Giokos is following the story, and let's go straight to her now for the latest developments. You heard there in my intro, Heidi, I mentioned the rain really putting a damper on things when it comes to giving residents in the area as well as businesses operating in the area back their electricity.
Certainly, Rapiwa, I think the rainy and wet conditions is not helping the situation here. We do know that City Power's plan is to have the power restored by the end of today. However, that might be a little difficult because the rain is persisting. But we are joined by City Power Manager Charles Mohlaka. Thank you so much, Charles, for your time. We appreciate it. Maybe just speak to us about how far operations are. I know that it's raining and it's persisting. Is this hampering your deadline at all?
Thanks very much. Good morning. Yes, so far we've tried to do laying of the cabling under tunnels, and we've also made the joints, and this side we are just about to finish. So actually it's just ready for testing and all that. What you see happening behind me is some of the extra cabling that we need to do in case when power goes off at some point in time, these cables can be able to carry it automatically without the ones that have damaged now. I must say that, yes, there's a bit of a delay, but we are still optimistic that we should be able to restore power to our customers by end of today, as said. This rain is just, there, unfortunately. As work progresses, it doesn't progress as fast as we wanted to progress because of it. But I will say we are on track, even though we are moving slowly, as not anticipated in the initial.
Sure. When you say there is a delay, and when you say by the end of today, is that by the end of close of business, 5 o'clock, or is it midnight? Could you maybe give us a time frame? Because you have residents and businesses here who are really struggling, and come Monday morning, they don't know what to expect.
Look, the day is within 24 hours, so so we're hopeful that before Sunday, end of Sunday, which should be midnight, we're hopeful that we should be able to restore. And then we'll communicate if there is major delay that is on our way. We will definitely communicate. But I think we are on track. We're hoping by this time, or maybe midday, perhaps late, early evening, we could have. But with the kind of pace we are moving now, it is telling us that we need to push our restoration time, but still today.
Speak to us about the severity of the damage underground and how serious the fire actually was. I know that we have taken some visuals of the kind of rubble that was actually taken from underground. You have your boots underground, and maybe just tell us how serious the damage actually was.
Look, the damage, the severity, it's massive, because it doesn't only affect the finances of the city, but the businesses around. And we're in Johannesburg, and Johannesburg contribute the sizable amount if you put it in Gauteng as well, in the GDP of the country. So if you look it into that perspective, economic perspective, the damage is huge, because it has ripple effects on businesses that are around, but also to the city. I wouldn't say it's less damage, it's big damage, it's millions of rands lost. So we will, however, be able to quantify as soon as all the work is done. But in terms of the economy, the severe is huge.
And then maybe just speak to us about the City Power having the necessary cables ready and available to restore what has been damaged. The visuals behind us, you can see that they are pulling cables. That looks like a lot of cables, so the damage must have been quite serious underground. Correct.
Look, per drum there, it moves from 300 meters long, and this is not the only drum that is they are rolling behind. We rolled quite a few yesterday, so it's about more than 9 cables that were damaged in here, more than 9. So you can just imagine the drums that we had to pull for meters from where we are down the tunnels. So it's quite huge. City Power is losing a lot of money, and but we have to do what we have to do under the circumstances and restore hope to our customers and the community around the city of Johannesburg.
Just lastly, Charles, do we know what caused the fire?
At the moment, the investigation is still ongoing. It could have been anything. It could have been theft and vandalism. It could have been a weak spot on the network, on the cables that caused fire. It could have been anything. You know, in engineering, these things happen at times. It could have also been the aging of our network infrastructure. But I must say we are maintaining our network infrastructure, and this one is one of those investigation is still ongoing, and we should be able to tell once the investigation is done what caused this damage.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. We'll let you get back to work. I think you have a deadline you need to meet.
Yeah, no, we do.
Thank you so much. That was City Power Manager Charles Muklaka just giving us an update, Ropiwa, with regards to how far they are and how the rain is not really assisting them, but they're trying by all means to push through, and they have men underground actually laying the cables and trying to make sure that they meet that deadline of midnight. As you heard Charles indicating that should there be any delay, they will communicate this with residents and all that are affected in the area. It cannot be easy because they are underground, they are trying to assess the damage, but also what's interesting is that Charles did tell us off camera earlier on that it's still very hot underground, but they are pushing through because they understand the impact that this has had in the inner city of Johannesburg.
No, absolutely. I quite enjoyed, Heidi, I must say, on a lighter note, your little back and forth that you had there with the city manager on what exactly a full day is. Glad you all clarified it for us. It is 24 hours and they've got until midnight to restore power in the area. Heidi Giokos will obviously catch up with you a little later as those developments happen. Thank